I'm the co-founder and CEO of Edge. We make software that helps patent practitioners create patents anywhere from 2 to 5 times faster, with a dramatic amount of pain reduction in some of the most difficult parts of creating a patent, like drafting the long sections and working with figures. Part of why we started Edge was that when we looked at the landscape, even though patent attorneys are the people who work with technology the most, they actually had some of the worst tooling. The average patent is written in Microsoft Word, and it's submitted through a USPTO government website that looks like it hasn't changed since the mid-2000s. The question we asked was, couldn't we make something that was better? Something that really advances the productivity and ease of use for one of the most critical but underappreciated parts of the innovation economy. Thousands of years ago, we didn't have patents. They were actually invented in Venice in the late 1400s. And before that, the only way you could really protect an invention would be to either get like the king to protect you or to keep it a secret. And that's one of the reasons we didn't have as much invention prior to the Renaissance. But the Venetians had this idea that, hey, if you share your idea, which is a social good, we'll give you a temporary right to stop other people from copying your idea. This was a revolutionary concept. It spread throughout Europe. The idea was perfected in the United States, so the version of patents we have today is more like the American version than the original Venetian version. But what you do is you disclose an invention. It's a really long process. It costs right now on average over $10,000 just to get the application out the door. On top of that, it requires incredibly specialized lawyers. Patent lawyers in pretty much every jurisdiction have to take a special test separate from the bar exam that they would normally have to take, or whatever the equivalent is in their country. It's a really specialized field with very high-end lawyers. It's something where you're really driving society. And with legal tech, you're really seeing a change in the way that lawyers approach technology. What really hasn't happened, and it's starting to happen now, is the technology people like me going back to the drawing board and saying, okay, we haven't gotten the uptake that we expected. What did we do wrong? What is the technology that we can provide that will produce so much value that the people in this trillion-dollar industry will give us the dollars necessary to not only make this a venture scale category, one of the largest venture scale categories? The answer is starting to become clear, especially with LLMs, but also with LLM guided technology. I mean, first of all, AI itself is this phenomenal invention. We should talk about where it is today and then where it's going. So today, what artificial intelligence is primarily almost like a compression technique. It's something that is able to take knowledge and represent it and maybe have like a small amount of rudimentary reasoning skills. So what it's really doing is helping you explore the space of invention more efficiently. And I think that's really going to be exciting because it will allow us to do more invention and also scale the science that we're doing. And so I think that even with a new technology like AI, this is more important if you're going on the application side, but I think it's something that I've seen is true even of the people who do pure technology development. They're thinking a lot of the use case, of what's exciting. And so thinking about the real world, engaging with the real world will help you a lot. You may not think, how will doing even just an entry-level job at McDonald's help me know something about AI? It actually will. Not because you'll learn about AI itself, that's something that you still have to do watching Andrej Karpathy videos, but because you're going to learn about the world. You're going to see how they're using AI today, but also how they aren't. And so going out there, developing your work ethic, seeing the real problems of the world by doing it, all while taking this time to learn, is going to put you in a really strong position. I will say that AI is easier to use than ever, and it can create really compelling value propositions. So it is worth considering, especially as we talk about learning about some of this new stuff. I've judged for like 2 or 3 years now for Leangap. I never, ever judge the participants based on whether they're using whatever the hot new technology of the day is. Like back when crypto was hot, I didn't judge them on whether it was a crypto project. Today, I'm not going to judge them on whether it's an AI project. What I will add, though, is that there are two issues that I see consistently in some of the projects that I see. I would say the first thing is that what I judge on is the progress that you make. I'm realistic. I get that it's less than 3 months, but you would be shocked at what you can get done. And so think about what are the kinds of things where you can really show progress in a reasonable amount of time, and what good progress means for your use case. A lot of times they haven't really talked to a lot of the people who would be using the product and service, know about what's happening in the world, talk to your users, and that goes back to what we said earlier about get out in the real world. You'll learn about some more problems. Look, are you going to create the next Instagram during Leangap? Maybe. You'd actually be surprised how many startups actually started with like a summer thing that someone just started working on. Snapchat is an example. It started as like a class project, and now it's like a $20 billion publicly traded company. So it could be you. You just have to really dedicate yourself to it, and you have to really think about the real problems and why they're being solved or not being solved today.